present studies and researchers have shed more light on DNA. Earlier it was proved that humans have only 2 strands of DNA. Even now this theory is being followed, but recent researches show that there may be additional 10 DNA strands instead of 2 as is theorized now. A total of 10 DNA strands are mutating and awakening according to researchers. These 10 strands have been called junk DNA. Subsequent to the finding of a child with 3 DNA strands, researchers are now stating that there may be a total of 12 DNA strands and 10 of them are in the process of mutating, and we would have 12 DNA strands. The increased number of DNA strands would enhance human capabilities. As Indian texts speak of DNA and cloning, I was checking the texts. There is evidence of this concept in the geometrical pattern in the Sri Yantra. In the meanwhile, it is worth remembering that the Puranas, Itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata and Indian treatises on medicine speak of the enhanced capabilities of humans in the Satya Yuga, and these capabilities gradually degenerated over the Treta, Dwapara Yuga and the present Kali Yuga. The longevity, physical characteristics were enhanced with people of gigantic proportions, and they had consciousness at a higher level. There is a reference of the Shiva Linga spewing DNA from space, DNA mutation and stem cell research in Indian texts. The reference to Kasyapa's wife Thiti giving birth to disfigured fetus might indicate genetic alteration. And there are the 11 Rudras and 12 Adityas. Rudra is an Imsa of Shiva, Shiva being referred to as Paripurna, complete, Vishnu as one of the Adityas. Is it possible that the information conveys the message that there are 12 DNA strands? And that they evolve as the avatars are indicative of the evolutionary process. As the DNA strands determine our life with coded past information, is it possible that horoscopes represent the records of our past genetic codes affecting and guiding our lives? These dormant strands of DNA have been discovered by scientists who, not knowing the function of these strands, have identified them as junk DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid (DNA) is a nucleic acid that contains all the genetic instructions used in the development and functioning of all known living things. The main role of DNA is the long-term storage of information. DNA is often compared to a set of blueprints since it contains the instructions needed to construct other components of cells. The DNA segments that carry genetic information are called genes, but other DNA sequences have structural purposes or are involved in regulating the use of genetic information. Our DNA is therefore a personal blueprint, and as such contains all our mental, physical, emotional and spiritual information. The original human being had 12 strands of DNA actively working and maintaining the full function of the human as a spiritual being. With our over-preoccupation with left-brain thinking and the closing down of our heart centers, these extra DNA strands have been lost. The consequences of this loss are that we live in a spiritually deficient society, and our intuitive and healing abilities have been hugely reduced. It has also resulted in us only accessing and using a very small part of our brains. The human body is the most valuable thing we will ever own. It stores and holds a wealth of information, wisdom and knowledge on every aspect of ourselves, our world and all of life. Combinations of intelligence are stored within the human, and a great amount of data is stored inside the body. Inside our bodies are the formulas required to replicate other forms of intelligence throughout the universe. At conception, we receive from our two different bloodlines, our parents, certain matched and paired recessive genes. These genes hold light codes that give us the highest opportunity for accessing and developing our spiritual abilities and for healing the damaged and wounded aspects of our soul. Boy with 12 strands DNA. A 2-year-old boy has become the only person in the world to be diagnosed with an extra strand in his DNA. Brave Alfie Clam was born blind and with severe disabilities, which led doctors to carry out various tests. They revealed his 7th chromosome has an extra strand of material which has never been documented anywhere in the world before. Doctors are baffled at his condition, which is so rare it does not have a name. Medics also have no idea whether his condition will improve or reduce his life expectancy.